Hello, my name is Nancy Simpson Banker. I am honored to be addressing you this morning as the Development Director at the Children's Room. I am humbled to follow Michael and Kat and inspired by their stories of strength and resilience. 6 years ago, I was sitting where you are. My brother Alan had just become a program volunteer and invited me to join him and his wife Janet at this breakfast. Although I had been a fundraiser in Greater Boston for over 20 years, I had never heard of the Children's Room. After watching the video and hearing the speakers, I was all in. This was a mission I could get behind. You see, Alan and I and our 5 siblings could have greatly benefited from the services of the Children's Room when our parents died in 1969. I will never forget that day. We had moved from Hollis, New Hampshire to Worcester, Massachusetts on July 31st. On September 9th, my parents drove Alan to freshman orientation at the University of New Hampshire and were killed by a drunk driver on the way home. I was 13, and my sister Julie was 16. We had just begun school in this new community and knew no one. Julie and I arrived home to an empty house. It was hours later when a family friend from Hollis arrived at the door to tell us the news. It took 24 hours to gather the 7 of us, ages 13 to 25, in Worcester. A week later, my sisters Joanne and Sue, who were 23 and 22, moved home from Boston to raise Julie and me. As a family, we did not speak of my parents' death or of our profound grief. We were stoic and driven to succeed to honor my parents' memory and work ethic. In 1994, our family was again hit by tragedy. My sister Sue, who raised me, died of cancer at the age of 46, just 8 weeks after diagnosis. Sue was my best friend, hero, and beloved aunt to 6 nephews and a niece. When she died, I was drowning in grief, but pulled up my bootstraps and pushed through. My siblings did the same. It wasn't until Alan and I found the Children's Room that our family began to openly talk about my parents' and Sue's deaths and to begin to process some of our grief. Don't get me wrong, our grief will never go away, and it has changed each of us. But Alan's and my time at the Children's Room has been extraordinarily healing for our family. This is something we often hear from our volunteers, many who gravitated toward the Children's Room because of their own early loss. What I have come to learn about the Children's Room is that it deeply touches so many more people than just the children, teens, families we serve, and the community members that we educate. It is an extraordinary place. As the youngest of 7 children, my family likes to tease me about my choice of profession. They claim that I became a fundraiser because as the baby, I got everything I asked for as a child. And I got used to people saying yes to me. Truth be told, the reason that I got everything I asked for is because I was my parents' favorite. Right, Alan? Today, I ask you to please make a financial contribution so that the Children's Room can continue to serve more families and add more groups in the community. The Children's Room doesn't charge families to participate in our programs since financial hardship often accompanies a family's loss. The Children's Room doesn't receive any state or federal funding. In other words, our programs are supported solely through donations, with 81% of our revenues coming from individuals like you. I'd like to extend a special thank you to those of you who have already made a multi-year pledge. Your generosity is invaluable. Each of you will receive a personalized statement from your table host shortly that will enable you to update your information and make changes to your pledge. For those of you who have not made a pledge, please consider joining me and my husband Steve as members of the Circle of Hope giving community today. The first giving level is a pledge of $1,000 a year for 5 years. We call this our Open Arms Circle. Each year, your $1,000 donation will enable a child or teen to enter a peer support group. We also invite you to consider joining the Hope Givers Circle with a pledge of $5,000 a year for 5 years. Each year, your $5,000 donation will fund a free peer support group in the community. Some of you may be with a company or foundation or may be in a position to give more. So we invite you to join our Forever Circle, which is $10,000 a year for 5 years. Each year, your donation will help fund our monthly family night program. If you are able to join me and other donors listed in our program, as members of the Circle of Hope giving community, we are incredibly grateful for your generous support. If you wish to make a gift at a different level, please include the amount and time frame on the form that your table host will give you shortly. Again, we truly appreciate any level of support you choose to contribute. If possible, we do ask that you make the first payment on your pledge or contribution today, as it will help reduce our administrative costs. I am delighted to announce that we have received a challenge grant from the Rhyme and Reason Family Fund. They will match all new and increased pledges made this morning up to $35,000. Please keep their generosity in mind when making your donation decision. The doors to the Children's Room are always open, and there are a myriad of ways in which you can help beyond your donation, whether it's learning about our volunteer opportunities, coming in for a tour, or connecting us to valuable contacts with businesses, foundations, or other community organizations that might support our mission. You may also wish to include the Children's Room in your estate plan, as I have. If any of these apply, please check the box that says, "Please contact me, I have thoughts to share," and we will be sure to follow up. Now, I'd like to ask our table host to pass out the pledge forms. We are grateful for whatever gift you made today and for the valuable gift of your time. I'd like to thank you for being with us this morning, for being a part of our caring community and helping us in the work that we do. Last but not least, I would like to thank our board, volunteers, and staff for all that they do to support our work, and to our breakfast committee and table hosts for planning this breakfast and bringing you here this morning. I will give you a few more minutes to complete your forms, and when you're finished, please pass your envelopes back to your table host. Thank you.